Okay, another one of our building blocks is how to have a healthy sex life. Terry, over to you.
You know what? I don't know where I never know where I heard anything, but I heard that a healthy sex life is the taproot to a healthy marriage. And it's so important. And you know what? What we've realized as we've taught on this topic is that so many couples struggle in this area and they have no idea where to go and where to talk about it. And all the wrong people, in our opinion, are talking about it. You know, sex was God's idea and it should be wonderful, but our culture is so polluted sex that a lot of people are really messed up. And so we talk about what it looks like to have a healthy sex life. And if your physical relationship isn't healthy, to go get help and to get the tools that you need, because it bonds a couple together in a powerful way.
So early on in our marriage, and part of the challenge was we had four children in about 5.5 years just had water.
So for a decade, I was very tired.
Like,
just for a short decade.
It feels like Terry was pregnant forever. It was so hard on me. Anyway, but there was a turning point for you that I think is really important for.
Do you want me to tell that story?
I think you need to.
Briefly, we were out to dinner with our best friend couple, the kind of couple that you have these kind of conversations with. And I don't remember how it started, but I remember saying, you know, we have a great marriage. I mean, the sexual area could be better, but we have a great marriage. And he looked at me and he said, he's like a brother to me. And he said, you know what? If you don't have a great sex life, you don't have a great marriage. And it was a defining moment for me because I wanted to have a great marriage. I wanted to be a great wife. And what I realized is that, you know, if I had the choice between sex and sleep, I'll just be honest, I would choose sleep. And you know what? That wasn't okay. And so we really turned it around. I mean, I made, you know, when we talked about John Maxwell's quote earlier that you make the big decisions and then you manage them, I made a big decision, and it was that I wanted my husband to be sexually fulfilled, and I was going to do everything in my power to do that. And
kumbaya, she has fulfilled that desire. Not to get too weird. So, my challenge to those watching this is,
we can't wait to hear what it is.
Yeah, it's like I tell men, if you come to our workshop, and we do a full workshop,
right, a whole teaching just on
sexual intimacy. Husbands, if you come to this workshop, you will write my wife Terry a thank you note for what she shares in those workshops about sexual intimacy. Now, let me just say this. Conversely, we talk about in the having a healthy sex life workshop about how just as it's important for the wife to bring her A game and have this vision of her husband being fulfilled sexually, we as husbands need to bring our A game in connecting with our wives at the heart level, at the emotional level, and doing the hard work of being good listeners and really connecting at the heart. That intimacy is, in a sense, the equivalent of the physical intimacy that a man wants to experience in the marriage relationship.
And a lot, excuse me for interrupting.
Oh, please.
A lot of guys really and truly don't know how to do that. And I tell women all the time, you can help your husband know how to love you. Sometimes they just don't know. They haven't been around, you know, they just haven't been taught how to connect emotionally. But for a lot of women, they'll come and say, you know, my husband wants to have sex all the time, but he never, you know, talks to me. And so we just help couples with that. And we've seen many couples turn this area around, and it makes for a great marriage, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, we've had amazing stories, amazing testimonies, nothing specific, thankfully.
We do tell stories of funny things that have happened when our children have shown up at inappropriate times.
Yes, called the prayer chain. So we do a whole session on sexual intimacy. Well, I'm so excited about it.
You did the whole session on this.
Again.
Let me repeat, a whole session.
As we close out this little piece,
yes,
why don't you share the story of the older couple and how
that I read in the book?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then we'll close with that. But this is really good.
This was in Jimmy Evans' book, Marriage on the Rock. Read it like early in our marriage, never forgot it. But this couple was celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and they were being honored for, 50 years of wonderful marriage. But there was someone in the audience that had known them in the early years where it wasn't pretty. And so afterwards, they went up to the wife and they said, okay, I know the whole story, so how did you do it? And she said, in the early years of our marriage, when it wasn't good, she said, I didn't love my husband where he was. I loved him where I wanted him to be. And I never forgot that. It was kind of like she was saying, I realized that I had the power to love him in a way to make him a better man than he was. And the rest is history.
And one of the things that you said to me as we were dating and engaged, and you said to me over and over again, we make a great team.
Right.
And that's what marriage does, is like successful, healthy marriages, growing marriages, they make each of the couple a better them.
Right.
And
It's
that's
like
what we
1
do.
+ 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 3.
It equals a bunch. So anyway, shout out to healthy
You can't even say it. Sex.
successful marriage.
Oh my gosh.
In your marriage.
Okay, I think we need to be done with this session.
All
We're
right.
done.
Thank you. Again, we just encourage couples that they really prioritize this aspect of their marriage relationship, and we just have a blast. This is probably
Yeah.
one of the funnest parts of our workshop that we have. It's tasteful, it's intriguing, it's non-judging,
Right,
and
right.
there's hope. It gives hope to couples and how their marriage can grow in the sexual area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So come on out and let's talk about sexual intimacy in marriage. You'll be glad you did. Don't you
Especially
think?
the husbands. Especially
Yeah.
the husbands.
And you'll send me a thank you note. You husbands will, because of what I'm going to tell your wives.